I think in terms of placement for me,
Just start with the bridge.
I would like to start with the bridge, because the bridge is one of the most proficient movements that you can do, meaning that every part of the body is utilized. Every part of the body is utilized, especially the part of you that goes, oh my God, I can't do this. Oh my God, my hips, I can't. The whole list of I can'ts begin to come up, and that's really precious because everything you believe you can't is exactly what you can. And it's fascinating to me how much we've been trained to believe that we can't. Right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It absolutely does make sense.
Make sure that they can hear you say that.
Yes,
Okay.
it makes sense.
All right. So in the, I'd like to utilize, why don't we, I'm going to walk us through it, the movement, and then we'll break it down. Good?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that you get a pretty good view of Nia and Darcy, and that's important. So just to gauge yourself off of, but really the most important is for you to feel your way in and feel your way through, right? Powering through a movement, trying to push past whatever limitation comes up. I want you to understand that pushing past anything can lead to something detrimental because you start working against yourself. So if you start believing that you cannot stop, take a deep breath, regroup, and then begin again. And really decide for yourself the belief construct that you're holding, right? And sometimes, as we talked about in the last piece of the last segments that we did, where Nia was talking about what starts to come up is how she can't. And what you saw her do was pull out, rest herself, regroup, and get back in. And so that's really the most important thing that you can do, is to collect yourself and define for yourself where your power lies. And sometimes your power lies in believing in the disempowerment and then writing all about that so that you can see what is connected,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, and then once you find out what that is connected to, that being the belief that you cannot, once you pull that apart, you get to decide. And that is the empowerment. That is the value. And every experience in our life has value. Especially the ugly ones, especially the ones we don't want to go near, especially the ones that were what? Somebody else's fault. Those are beautiful. Because most people don't want to even check what is their 100 of that experience, right?
Yeah.
So we've all had plenty of those because those are teaching moments. Those are moments where we go, wow, do I really need to hang on to this construct of limitation? How does it serve me? And if it served you as a child, I can guarantee you this. It may be something very different as an adult. Right, so here we go. Ready?
See.
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 All right, so plant your hands, and you want your hands to be under your shoulders, not out beyond your shoulders, but directly under your shoulders. All right. Open your palms and press your hands into the floor so you are actively pressing your body weight up from the floor, through your palms, up through your arms. Now extend your legs behind you, all the way up on your toes. So you're stretching the neck of the toes as you lower your chest forward to come forward between the arms. Press your breastbone up. Bring your bottom down, Monique. Do you need more length, honey?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And I need, well, my hands are like sweaty.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
Lots of body heat. Body straight. Stomach muscle pressing back. Body straight, Darcy. You're looping in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna
Lift the
stop
hips
doing.
more.
Lift yourself from here. There you go. You feel the difference
It's
there?
getting hot in
Yes.
here.
I
Yeah.
do.
So you don't have such a deep. You were draping in your lower back,
Right.
which meant that you're not using your rib cage
Right.
and the abdominal muscles as they span across the navel.
Right.
You feel the difference?
I do. Yep.
Okay. Keep your focus and use your breath. Keep your focus and use your breath. Keep your focus and use your breath. Let's go. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, knees down. Sit back and stretch.
Yikes.
All the way back, stretch. Take a deep, full breath and just relax in that position. Stretch. Deep, full breath. Just let your body weight fall into that stretch. Deep breath and relax. Excellent. And come on up. Press your hands into the floor. Let the weight of the head come up last as you slowly roll up through your spine. Take your time. Breastbone up and forward. Weight of the head over the shoulders. Very good. So, let's get with that. How did you guys do? Right? How did you do? What corrections did you find for yourself? Make sure you write them down because you can write in and we can dialogue about these experiences because they all have value and they all have some gem for you. So you want to take a moment, you guys?
Yes.
Take a moment and write. We're going to do it in real time. Excellent. Because everything that you discover is really the inner chatter. And most people don't even recognize the inner chatter. It's been going on for so long. Like, what are you thinking? Why would you say such a thing? You know, and it's more like the sound of the critic versus the sound of encouragement. And that's what is important to recognize, to respond to, and to evolve. So what did you guys come up with? How was it for you?
Well, it was wonderful because the last time that I did the movement, I felt the adjustment you had given me was to anchor deeper in my shoulders and expand more across my chest. So when I entered the movement this time, I was focused on bringing when you said that about bringing my breastbone forward between my arms and then lifting my head. And it was so interesting because then the adjustment that I ended up making was to drop my belly and impinge in my lower back because that's absolutely where I felt an impingement in my spine and my lower back. And then when you brought my attention to that and you said needing to utilize the entire network of the abdominal structure as well as the rib cage.
Yeah.
And there was something a fusion that occurred to include both those elements of fully utilizing my entire middle abdominal structure and
The obliques, the wrap.
Yes, the obliques, that's right. The obliques that wrapped the closing of my rib cage as well as utilizing the whole length of the abdominal structure and opening my chest and anchoring my shoulders. There was a whole entirely different experience. I felt engaged on a deeper level than I have felt before doing this movement. And there was like the word tension, though not a tension like from a compression, but tension like a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
That I felt this readiness, this full engagement, my entire structure in the movement, all in support of the movement.
Yes.
Simultaneously.
Yes.
There was a difference, and it was like a very delicate balance. Like I could feel where I would overcompensate in one direction or impinge in another direction, and it was like a like a dance,
Indeed.
a
Indeed.
dance of balance and
Yes.
of this middle way. Again, I keep seeing that bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Um,
Isn't that beautiful? Because utilizing all of you for the readiness of life,
yeah,
the readiness of whatever is necessary in the moment.
yeah,
And that's really beautiful because
yeah.
bringing your heart forward, I remember someone saying to me, do I bring my heart forward all the time? And I said yes. And her response to me was, that's insane. And the truth is, how many people really feel terrified of being heartfelt, open, and present. And people talk about being, what's the other word? Vulnerable. The V word. Being vulnerable, as if it is a weakness, and yet vulnerability unto itself is a very definite power. It's one of your, what is it?
Superpowers.
Thank you. I didn't want to say it. Yes, it's one of your superpowers. You know, and that's very important to recognize, because being afraid of who we are is what keeps us small. And the time for that is done. The time for being small is done. Right? You were supposed to be small when you were small. And when you were small, you had to be trained to pull back, to dampen yourself, to not be so much. Don't be so loud. Don't be so excited. Don't be angry. Don't be sad. Don't cry. You know, what essentially we learned is how not to be. So this is about the reclamation. This is about the reclamation and the truth of the bountifulness that is being a human. So I wanted to break that down some more, Darcy, because what you're talking about is what I was just referencing. Bringing your heart forward and facing whomever you're facing as your heart is forward. And what happened was your hips dropped.
Yep.
So when your hips drop, what's the lower back?
Support of self, financial, emotional, spiritual support.
Yes, as well as physical.
Oh, actual physical support. That's
Yeah.
right. Well, that makes sense.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I also considered that the hips and the power center.
Yes.
To drop my power center in the exposure of my heart and facing
Hello.
my life.
What?
And that,
That's right.
learn that, one or the other, or like just a little bit, just a part of myself, just a piece of myself at a
Yes.
time, not all of myself fully
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we have run out of time. And we're going to do another segment,
Yes.
and we'll find out from Nia what her experience was like. Because as you saw, Nia does this movement and doesn't have a problem. But the last few times, she has something emerging that is calling her attention. It's not that she's weak. It's not that she can't. It's the body's way of demonstrating what is emerging emotionally and spiritually. So we'll catch you on the other side. Write, pay attention, breathe deep, embrace all that you are in every moment, because that's how you grow the divine that is you. Thank you. See you again.